class. Pollution on planet Earth, and that is my Earth. That is 2 land eyeballs and pretty much like a X mouth of water that like symbolizes death. Now, my speech is about pollution and like the environment. And pollution is a major problem on the planet, and I want to inform you so you can understand why. My main points about pollution are like the types of it, the causes of it, and the health effects it can have on your body. In our society, there's a problem labeled pollution, and it is generated by many things. The definition of pollution is to make unclean or impure, and that comes from the Webster's World New Dictionary. And so that's the definition of pollution, and I will move on to the categories of pollution. And there are 5 types of pollution. There is water pollution, soil, radioactive, air, and noise pollution. Noise pollution is any kind of noise that is unpleasant to the human ears. And that comes from the source of types of environment pollution, free press release distribution services, and the website of that is www.prlog.org. And there's more to that, but I'm not going to get into it, it's too long. Next one is water pollution, and that is any kind of contaminant that enters water bodies, such as rivers and lakes. After that, we have air pollution, which is the discharge of harmful substances into the atmosphere. After that, we have radioactive pollution, and I couldn't really find much about this. The only source I could find said that it is a rare kind of pollution, but it is detrimental, and the meaning of detrimental is damaging. And that comes from types of environmental pollution as well. The next one after that is soil pollution, and this is the contamination of soil. So those are the categories of pollution. Now I will give you some random facts. 40% of America's rivers and 46% of America's lakes are too polluted for fishing, swimming, or aquatic life. And that source comes from a website by 11 Facts About Pollution, DoSomething.org. The next fact I have is vehicle exhaust contributes roughly 60% of all carbon monoxide emissions nationwide, and up to 95% in cities. And that comes from the same 11 Facts source. Now, every year, one American produces over 3,285 pounds of hazardous waste. That is just one American per year. And that also comes from 11 Facts. Now, these were the facts, but what causes pollution, you might ask? That's my next point. Air pollution causes. There are natural causes such as volcanoes, and that source comes from sources of pollution in the ambient air, and that comes from the Environment Protection Agency. And that is website for that is www.epa.org or gov, my bad. Then there are 2 types of human-generated reasons why there is air pollution. Mobile sources such as automobiles and airplanes, and stationary sources consisting of non-moving sources such as power plants and industrial facilities. And that comes from the same source as sources of pollutants in the ambient air. Next we have water pollution. And there are quite a few ways water pollution is caused. One way is through industrial waste. Companies not caring, they're just dumping toxins into the water. And another one is marine dumping. And that source comes from the causes of water pollution. And that website is www.waterpollution.org. After that we had noise pollution, which comes from loud and hard sounds. Examples are factories, machineries, automobiles, and explosives. And that comes from types of environmental pollution, which is a source that I stated earlier. The next one after that is soil pollution. There are two causes. First causes are natural, like accumulation of compounds in the soil. And then that source comes from soil pollution causes. And the website for that is environmentalpollutioncenter.org. The second causes are by human activity and include accidental spills and leaks of chemicals, manufacturing processes, and storage of waste in landfills. Now, those are the causes of pollution. I will now move on to effects on the health of our body. With air pollution, there are two effects, acute and chronic effects. The acute effects that can be reversed and chronic effects that may not be reversed. And that source comes from Effects of Air Pollutants, Health Effects, Environmental Protection Agency. Chronic effects include decreased lung capacity and lung cancer from lung exposure. Effects of air pollutants is the source of that. Acute effects include eye irritations, headaches, and nausea. Now the next one is noise pollution. Causes of or health effects of noise pollution can be stress-related illnesses, high blood pressure, speech interference, and hearing loss. And that is noise pollution, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency source. After that we have water pollution, and health effects of water pollution can be typhoid, can be respiratory infections, and neurological problems in your brain. And that is water pollution diseases, environmentalpollutioncenter.org source. Now after that we had radioactive health effects. There are two types. One is stochastic and non-stochastic. And this comes from health effects, which is another Environmental Protection Agency source. And stochastic effects mainly, it's just cancer. And then there's non, which is burns and radiation sickness. And that's it for radioactive pollution. And I'll move on to soil. Soil, depending on the pollutant, you can have cancer and you can have learning difficulties. And that comes from environmentalpollutioncenter.org. Now, I talked about how pollution can have effects on your health. I talked about the types of pollution there are, and I also talked about causes as to why it is. And one final thought I'd like to leave you with is that the environment and the pollution is a big deal, and in order to change it, you need to take small steps to do that, and it starts today. And that's my speech.